This is Fam Electric Ghost, and we are live on our Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube channels with Kendra Black from New York City. And we're going to have her introduce some stuff that she's working on. This is the first time we've had her on the video podcast, but she's been on the audio program for last 2 years. And we've been out here as a podcaster for since 2018. So we've been 3 years doing it, and now we're doing this video version. And we're glad to have Kendra on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. We're going to watch 2 teasers of the projects that I'm about to release next week. On the 10th, it's going to be the video of the single that brought me the most streams last year, Hustla, featuring rapper Spice One. And then the day after, on Friday the 11th, it's going to be the release of the remix of the song and the video of that remix. And I'm very excited.
Okay, so we're going to go with the first version of the main version of Hustler, and then we'll do the remix.
Cool.
Strike a match, I won't feel it, baby. 'Cause every day I wake up and I care. Every day I wake up, care. Every day I wake up and I care. And when I kill it, tell me, do you feel it? And I hustle till I'm making my love, my love. I hustle till I'm feeding my love, my love.
Hello, we're back. That was just the preview because this is a teaser. So,
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a project that you had the first version of it, and we're just showed a minor teaser of it. But so the other song is a different variation on it. So who did the remix?
Well, that was the video for the main single that's already out, and then there's the video of the remix that's going to be out on Friday the 11th. That's what that was.
The main version. That's not a remix. That's an actual the real.
Well, the video of the main single, yes.
Yeah. And so the other song is going to be the remix. So we're gonna go into that now.
Wake up and I care. When I kill it, tell me, do you feel it? 'Cause every day I wake up and I care. Every day I wake up and I care. Every day I wake up and I care. When I kill it, tell me, do you feel it? Hustle. Hustle till I'm cheating, man.
So we're back to the main program again, and so yeah, we it seems they have a little bit of a glitch problem today. I don't know what the bandwidth, everybody's home because of COVID stuff, but we try to do our best. But yeah, we'll talk more about what you're actually doing in music since the last time we talked to you. I think one of the things that's really big since the last time is that you've got Emerald Sound, and maybe you want to talk about that and talk about you've been touring and lots of other things I know you've been working on.
Definitely. First, I'm going to start by talking about the videos that we just saw. So the story behind the videos is basically the fact that in music we can't really talk about what's going on behind the scenes, and it's often an industry that makes us feel like we have to be somebody else on the surface to please others and to do our thing, which is obviously very false. So in the videos, I kind of used imaging and the idea of the tape on the mouth and the difference between the outside of the mansion in the main video and then the inside of the mansion, and then the crazy club vibes in the second video to express that and to basically show how nothing that's shown on the surface is usually exactly the same inside, and I kind of use the spookiness and the creepiness of the tape to kind of convey that idea. So the reason why these videos are important in the next releases that I'm going to have and the work that I'm going to have is that I've been premiering them at my latest shows, like the Miami Festival that I played at in March by Synchro Events. It was the first edition of Synchro Fest, which I really enjoyed playing at, and all these other underground raves where I find myself being able to play, which is a real blessing right now in the times we live in. And I really wanted to put out some work that reflected more of who I am compared to other work in the past that was a lot of fun and I put a lot of myself into, but that was very sugar coated compared to what I'm really about, which I'm more about, underground, spookier, darker things a little bit. So that's what I've been working on. The songs are being released through the label of my company, Emerald Sounds, and distributed through the services I have through the company as well. And yes.
I think that's exciting. And I remember when we talked back when you did Rude and you had that video and it had that vibe. But this is kind of like now you're doing DJ work. Like you were like singer songwriter, before, and now you're doing the actual performance.
Well, I wouldn't call it doing the actual performance compared to before. It's two very different ways of performing. I'm singing a lot right now and trying a lot of experimental things with my voice. It's very different from what I used to do with my voice, but the singing component of it is very strong and will always be the main one. Now, the fact that I added the controller in my sets was something incredibly inspiring because I'm able to create my own tracks almost by mixing in all these songs that I can then sing on top of, which is a sort of freestyle that not everybody can do or has ever tried to do the way I do it. You see a lot of people that kind of talk over their tracks or sing little snippets or raps and things, but it's different from the live elements that I bring to the shows. So we'll see how things evolve. But as of right now, I'm very motivated to combine the acoustic elements of live music and singers and human sounds with the machine-made electronic sounds of electronic music, which we also love.
Well, I think it's just like an interesting hybrid because a lot of times, like you said, you'll see a DJ or like a Dead Mouse or like a Marshmallow, but they're not a singer like yourself. And
It's different.
Singing, it's kind of like how drummers, like a Phil Collins was a drummer who could sing, and that was like a big kind of different thing because Don Henley was a drummer who could sing, but there's not that many people who are drummers who actually can sing.
True.
And so I think being a DJ that actually has the kind of voice you have, and you're able to perform as if you were, in the same way vocally that you would if you were just standing in front of the crowd being a lead singer, but then you're able to be like a music director or a DJ or a modern like techno producer, EDM type of person, and actually control your mix, control your beats. And
definitely.
That's definitely a really cool thing if you think about it. Is that it's kind of pushing things forward in a way.
Thank you.
To have somebody that has that skill set, because it's probably hard, in my mind, where I compare it to the drummer, it's very hard to kind of play and sing. Anybody who's ever been a singer that plays guitar or piano, you understand that kind of, because you can just focus vocally as a singer and not do anything else. But to have to do like what you're doing on the controllers and do your voice, I think that's a different level of skill.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely a lot of coordination, but when it's the right moment, like to sing and or when there's something that you're doing, you're transitioning into another song or singing on top of a drop or dropping a track, like everything kind of like goes in sync if you are really feeling it. So that's the beauty of it, how once you're on that wave, you're good. It doesn't feel like you're multitasking. It doesn't feel like hard work. Then when you're not in sync, of course, it's kind of a mess. It's very important to be in sync before performances, during, obviously, and after, but before especially, because then once you get there, you need to feel the tracks. And as humans, we have the ability to feel more than we normally do, and use less of our senses than we normally do. And when you're creating art and multitasking while you're doing it, then you really need to be connected to it to break through that that moment of you know what I mean, which is
Yeah,
common
it's
of
kind of,
many
yeah.
humans. We're human, you
I
know what I mean?
It's kind of like if you think about like an athlete with the muscle memory, right?
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
exactly, that's the
you know how
perfect
to do that
example.
3-point shot because you do it
Mm.
1,000 times, and you just know where to be and what to do, right? A musician, I think, like
Yeah,
if you're a guitar player and you learn that guitar, you can get to a point where you could actually, you know, kind of not even think about it and sing the song and then play the guitar at the same time. And you have that skill
yeah.
set. I think it's like so when you started to get into the DJ aspect of it, did you immediately incorporate singing, or did you wait till you got to a certain degree of kind of muscle memory on your gear before you
No,
incorporated your voice, or did you do both from
not
the beginning?
really. It started as a almost as a game, and as an experiment. I was just DJing, and obviously I'm a singer, so I started throwing vocals in certain things, and then I realized that that was something that came very natural, and I could, do it, and it could be my thing. And it was kind of like a very fast realization because it was very, like I said, it came really natural to sing certain things or try certain tracks on certain other things, other beats, or throw vocals, like any freestyle vocals and what I was doing. So I was like, okay, I can see myself doing this and developing it more, and that was kind of fun. I would have never found out if I hadn't started DJing.
What made you make the decision to do that?
Well, quarantine had just started. I kind of picked it up in November and December a little bit, but sporadically. And then when quarantine hit, obviously there was a lot more time, and my boyfriend Philobulus taught me how to DJ. And
Oh,
initially,
yeah, just thinking,
yeah,
I didn't know that he taught you.
mhm,
That was why
yeah,
I
and
remember seeing
initially,
the energy there.
no, definitely. And initially, he was looking at the way I was doing it and telling me how I was breaking all the rules, and I had to do things a certain way. And then it turns out I created my style with that. So I keep
That's
breaking
good.
rules, and it keeps selling
Yeah.
tickets. So that's fine.
I always say, and I think I was talking to Phobius about that, like a lot of things in music today, like are cross genre, or
Hmm.
if you think about
Yeah.
people who are really innovative, like people will tell you, oh, you shouldn't do that chord arrangement. That's not what you're supposed to do. Or like you think about the story like Hendrix, like he was in the studio and he had the feedback, and all the recording engineers were saying, like, you're not supposed to do that. That's not supposed to be on the record, right? So when you
Yeah.
get people who kind of say they break the rules, it becomes like then that becomes the norm.
Hmm.
But you have to be kind of like the people that the new guard, or the brave person that goes out and decides that I'm going to do what I
Yeah.
think is right rather than what everybody says you should do.
Hmm. Absolutely.
I think that's like the feel, but it's really cool that you found like this new way to express yourself since the last time we talked, and
Hmm. Yeah,
you
definitely.
like you said, it's actually working for you. It's so you're finding a good response from your fan base.
Yeah, very good. And right now, obviously, life is hard with shows and everything. Musicians are being limited a lot in many ways, especially the performing live aspect, but in many ways, including like streaming and copyright issues for DJs online, and I could go on and on. But surprisingly enough, things are going very well right now for me in terms of performing and music in general. So yeah, I feel like once one gets on the right track, no matter what's going on in the world, the rest is just excuses. There's people sitting on the couch, and there's people making music, and that's not going to change whether it's life being back to normal or quarantine. So I think that people that are working towards what they're trying to do shouldn't be scared of what's out there. Not too much at least.
Yeah, so you definitely are feeling it. Well, yeah, I've seen that on your Instagram that you're doing these live shows. You were in Florida. Do you have more live shows scheduled?
Yes. So after Florida, I had a lot of shows in New York, pretty much like every weekend since I came back at the end of March. I performed for synchro events, radioactive pulse, a bunch of New York based companies that throw EDM events and all these cool events that we all need right now. And now I'm getting ready to leave for Italy in 2 weeks, where I will have a couple shows. Definitely a set, like a DJ set, but also most importantly, my jazz shows that I do when I go to Italy. That for the moment I've been doing exclusively over there, but that's about to change. And then hopefully when I come back, I'll have a little bit of time. I have a show in Baltimore coming up by Base Synergy Productions, and what else? A show in Phoenix and one in Michigan, of which I still need to learn the details because right now that's how things are done, I guess. So once they let me know, yeah, I'll be able to update them on the website, but they're already there. The dates are already there. So if people want to go on the kendrablackmusic.com/shows section of the website, they can already see the dates, even though some details are missing.
So I know you had talked about when you went to perform in Italy before with like orchestras and with like a lot more classical based music, different than what you do with the DJ type of stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you're saying that you mentioned that you're going to do it beyond, not just do it in Italy. You kind of hinted you're going to do it in other places.
Yeah. I mean, that's, obviously not the main direction I'm going in, but I really love it and it's got a really good response. And it's cool because it's modern songs, jazz adaptations of modern songs. So it kind of like combines like a classic vibe with like more modern, innovative things, which are obviously, what I'm all about, all about taking things and revamping them and making new versions of them and stuff. So I will be having a few shows in New York for that. I don't know when yet because this whole jazz wave is going to be brought to New York for the first time. It was usually only in.
Is that with the musicians from Italy coming to New York, or other people just?
Oh no, I mean they will in the future, but I'm just gonna do my thing, and when I'm in Sicily, I perform with them, but they have their thing going on in Europe, and I have like my thing. So
if you were kind of bringing that vibe with the
I would love to. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, from what you told me before, and I think I actually saw a piece of it, or you shared some audio.
Yeah,
I know a couple of years, and I heard it, and I was very impressed with that. And I was like, "Whoa, if that could come to New York, that would be cool." I like.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's a great idea. I would love to see that because.
Yes.
Yeah,
no, I'll definitely let you know about those. I feel like, especially in the summer, people are really gonna get a kick out of that.
Yeah, that's really exciting. So, yeah, I don't. So, I mean, is there anything else you want to tell your fans about? Because I know.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, Emerald Sounds, as you started mentioning at the beginning, the reason why I didn't want to go into it immediately is that, I wanted all this to come first and then talk about what I'm doing with Emerald. So basically, as you know, I'm independent. I'm not one of those, hard-headed people that want to stay independent all their lives. But at the same time, I'm proud to say I'm not looking, because I happen to be growing and doing really well with what I have, and obviously I'd love for my team to grow even more. I'm currently putting together a more extensive crew for when I go and do these shows, because sometimes that is lacking. You think you can just show up and play, but that is not the case. Doesn't matter where you go, really, how big or small the show is. You always need your people. So I'm currently adding people to my team because, a couple aren't enough. What else? Yeah, basically just building my PR. For example, I started working with Instinct Media Productions, and they have all these other avenues and things that they're working on that they're basically implementing for me and for the company. So yeah, what I was where I was going with this was I feel like what we don't really focus on in this industry is creating opportunities that are available to artists to just grab by themselves without needing to be signed, to be put on a shelf, to be turned into something they're not, without feeling like the world is going to end if they don't take a certain opportunity or don't change themselves or don't grasp that one shot. I mean, this was cool. Back in the day, it was great. That whole like vibe of like, oh, I'm going to make it today because this is my one shot. That was great. I'm not hating on that. But things have changed, and people are not only we're more, but also given the resources and where we are at now in life and in the world, there's more people doing more of the same things quickly and you know, and more you know, everywhere. So what I'm trying to say is we need to change the system a little bit. So what I wanted to create and what I'm trying to develop with Emerald is a system that helps artists, regardless of their you know, management status or whatever, a safe space, a safe platform where they can come in and pick what they need, what elements they're lacking. You know, they can consult with us and have us kind of like tell them what they're lacking, or they can come to us with an idea like, all right, I need music to release, or I have all this music, I need a platform to release it, and I don't know anything about how to register music. I don't know anything. Or I need a videographer because I have this album that I just recorded. Imagine a world where they can just go on these platforms, work with a bunch of trusted professionals. If they don't like one, they're on to the next. The company doesn't make money unless the artist goes with the pick. So that means that it's unlimited browsing, no finder's fees or anything. Plus, they can use the service as many times as they want, only, you know, paying for what they need, if anything. Sometimes it's not a pay, it's a campaign, which will then make them more money than they spent looking for the campaign itself. You know what I mean? And obviously the whole record label part with the whole, you know, technicalities of it. Another thing that I think is important is teaching artists how royalties work, publishing works, because I didn't know those things when I started. My friends don't know these things, even now, you know, at the present moment, some of them. So it's like, it's a very dangerous territory, because I feel like the reason why we don't know these things and there's no proper step for artists to learn these things, or courses that are centered towards it, you know, because I'm not saying like there's no resources out there, there's many, but at the same time, is an artist today in this day and age really going to spend that much time sitting down and learning about publishing and royalties as before writing any music? No, they're not going to. They're going to go through the whole process and then look for somebody to save them. And that's very dangerous, because as long as we won't know these things, then we won't be able to know what's fair and what's not for us and for the people we're working with as well. You know, because then an artist that doesn't know will go around making collaborations that will then damage other people. So I feel like this whole pyramid needs to end. We should all be able to access the same resources, and that way it can be based on talent, because unless we all start from the same finish line, or at least unless we have all of these things available to us equally, we won't know who really deserves to be up there or not. You know what I mean? Because we're all built up by something and somebody, or, well, not as independent artists, but that's my point, you know? So if we had the same accessibility to these things, then that would be a game changer. And that's what I'm trying to create with the company, and showing people also that, you know, you can build a team. You don't need to have a manager that takes care of everything. You do, that's a great thing, but also if you don't, then there's no excuse to not build your team and find a photographer that's coming with you to every show, a PR that works for you, crew guys for your shows. You know, like, you don't need a manager to put that together. And that's the system behind Emerald.
The best aspects of like the old kind of school, where when you did get signed, you had like A&R. Like,
that was great.
They had an A&R, they had management, they get them on the road, they dress them up, you know, so the Supremes all had their gowns, they had people taught them how their etiquette, taught them how to, you know, present themselves when they were out. Because labels like back then, they actually, you know, whatever stories about how they didn't do what they needed to do. And maybe they took too much money, but from the artists, but they did have this idea that you should train your artists, that you should get them on the road, get them into a review, because the Motown had a review, and that's kind of like, sounds like what you're trying to build with your artists is like they would go out on the road in the Four Tops, Temptations, Supremes. They'd all be playing at these gigs, like
Yeah.
multiple bands, and that seems like the kind of vibe that's going on today. You get
Mhm.
collectives, like you'll
Yeah.
get these hip hop collectives, you'll get EDM collectives, techno collectives, rock collectives, and they'll get all these indie bands and they'll go all play kind of like the Dead. They feel
Hmm.
like you believe in the music, you do it because you believe in it. Um,
Yeah.
but like what you said, it's really important to know how to register your music with like a pro organization like a BMI or an ASCAP.
Mhm.
I've as an indie artist since like 2008, I've been like, register my stuff on BMI and pro and making sure I control my master.
Yeah, and some people don't know the steps, they don't know how publishing royalties work. They don't know about sound exchange. They don't know
Yeah, yeah,
about
yeah,
copywriting things. And those are all essential things because without that, artists are going to keep getting screwed over and, hopefully not, but they might even screw over other people not knowing what these things are. So it's very important for me to create something that structures it a little more. Also for somebody that struggles with perfectionism like myself, it's incredibly frustrating that this industry, after all these years, is still like wild in the ways that it is. I don't mind it being wild. That's the whole
Wow.
reason why we love music. But what I mean by wild is that somebody that wants to do it gets into it, having no idea what to do and getting screwed over at the beginning is almost part of the game. It shouldn't be like that.
It's like you get a guitar player that doesn't care about business, right?
Mhm.
Like famous guy that I was talking about, Jimi Hendrix used to sign every contract he could sign. He didn't really care what he was doing, because that's a real
Mhm.
story. He would sign every contract anybody put in front of him. He had multiple contracts that contradicted other contracts. And so what happened is he had publishing on publishing and people fighting rights, after he died, even now.
Yeah. No,
And
yeah. Yeah.
because he just wanted to play the gig. And if you think about it, there's a lot of artists like that.
Yeah.
Because like they're just talented and they don't have a business sense, right? Because and that's kind of hard. And people will there are sharks that will take advantage of that. And so
Money.
even the great guys, you can find stories about like all the great bands, like the Beatles. The Beatles didn't get a good deal at the beginning. They
No.
were like getting a really bad deal. I mean, they only got a good deal like in the mid 70s. They
Yeah.
redid all their deals. I mean, all the big rock and roll bands had to renegotiate in the mid 70s compared to
Yeah.
what they were doing in the 60s. So I mean, even big guys like the Stones and the Beatles and Zeppelin, they didn't have the best contracts at the beginning.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's a common story that and I think every musician needs to kind of think about what you're saying. They need to read a little bit. They need to find somebody like an advocate like you. You go to Emerald Sound and find out what you guys offer because
That's the thing, if it can become a hub where people have questions about whatever it is and go on and find the help that they need for things to run smoothly, then, I'm happy.
yeah. Well, I think it's a great thing to offer those kind of services, kind of like a la carte, and you take what you need, or you decide that you need more or you need less. And I think it's cool that you give that kind of latitude.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Because a lot of artists, we're kind of starving artists. You might not have enough to do the whole package, but you
But
need
that's
to.
the thing, yeah. When you make these things accessible and make sure that people know that they can have unlimited consultations, unlimited browsing, then at that point, you're giving them at least the opportunity, at least the tools available in front of them to do what they need to do. And then it's up to a lot of factors whether they do it or not. But at least you're giving them that opportunity. That's
Yeah, and
what
I
I
like
strive for.
what other point you said that I think it's real important is in this kind of game of the industry, there is a lot of say you must give me X amount of money in 3 days or 20 days or it's off the table. There's a lot of that
Yeah.
kind of putting pressure on people and they're saying, oh, that's my only opportunity. I better go find a way to get like
Mhm.
X amount of money because they're telling me I gotta get this in 10 days or 20 days or 30 days. And you're like, why?
Yeah.
Because like you're still here. Your work is good yesterday. It's good tomorrow. It's good 4 days from now. Good a year from now. Why do we got to do it in 20 days? But regardless, yeah, I think it's great where you are, and what's going on with COVID, and you're able to get back on the road which is a lot of guys I've been talking to for the last year. They're struggling to do that, so that's really encouraging.
It's a struggle.
Yeah, that you found a way to do it.
It's not always smooth, but it's happening.
That's a good thing. That's a really good thing. And so we're trying to do, ourselves this thing in July to get people who are having trouble, getting out to the people doing a live performance through this platform. And
Yeah.
we've got about 18 bands so far out of the
Nice.
60 we've talked to since 2018. And so we're pretty happy where we are. It's going to be our first attempt to do this. So we're growing pains. You do a festival, you hope everybody, you fill all the time slots, you try to get everybody in. It's like, if somebody doesn't show up, somebody else got to fill in where something happens.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's live, it's whatever. It's going to be
a lot of technicalities.
Yeah, you do what you got to do, but it's all going to be fun. It's all going to be good. I think there's a lot of
Yeah, no, I can't wait.
Yeah, so we're happy to have you on a program. We'll just point out you're going to be on, I think, the last day, which is the 18th with Flobius. You both are going to be on.
Yes, I believe we're on the 18th, correct?
Yeah, you are. And we might want to do a little. I've been doing run-throughs. I actually did a run-through with a Swedish band last night, and they did. It came out pretty good. It kind of depends on each band's capability. What they can do with the kind of gear they got. It's everybody.
Yeah, with the tech. Yeah, with all the, because doing things online is a little different. You need good. I can't find the hardware. Good hardware to connect to your gear and to the computer, and then based on that, it can make or break a performance. It's it's something that we all figured out last year.
Yeah, and then you get like Comcast decides to throttle down right when you want to do something. So it's like you could do everything you can, and if the Comcast or AT&T goes and says, "Well, we're going to throttle this whole area," they're not getting the full speed. There's not much you can do about that.
I know that happens too.
But we're all trying to do what we can until we can get in front of people. But on the live situation, but we're glad that you are still pushing forward. Emerald Sound is phenomenal. You got the 2 new songs coming out.
Yeah.
Everybody should click the link here to check out everything you're doing in terms of your tour dates and your performances, and all your stuff is there. So everybody, this is going to be a permanent
all
link.
on my website.
Yeah, and this is going to be out on our Facebook, our YouTube, and Twitch. It's live now, but this will also go back to our audio only, and they won't see the link, but we'll put the link in the write-up. So
so are we releasing both the video and audio?
Yeah. The ability of this show, where people don't think we went off of Anchor, we're still part of Anchor. What happens is the video, after we're done, we convert it. It takes like an hour, but it then goes back out. Could happen less than now, but it goes out to 11 platforms, including Apple, Radio Public, Spotify. There's like tons of them.
Cool.
But we have a deal for distribution, so everything comes from here. It's converted to audio, goes out on the old platforms, which
perfect.
Today are still a lot of people like podcast audio only because they still like it, and so but
when you're driving and that's also the beauty of podcasts. You put it on like music and
But this version is cool because when we can do the YouTube video. Works really good. For some reason, YouTube works better on this platform for some reason.
Oh, so can we send in a last video before we end?
If you have a YouTube link, and
I do.
Send it to me, I can go and put it up.
Let's do it. Okay, so I know we're coming close to an end, and I want to show a video of. Let me get the link. One of my performances to kind of, to give an idea of what we've been talking about and this new way I have of performing and why it's different from, what I've been doing before and from what DJs out there do or singers out there do. Let me get it.
And we can share that link on the write-up too. So, but we'll
absolutely.
Yeah. You just as soon as you get it, I'll have it.
Here we go. Yep, I just sent it to you.
Oh, okay, I see it. I just have to grab the link. 1 second. where it doesn't play.
Yeah.
So I have to put it into a special window for it to play. Kind of like using Zoom. You can share the screen.
Oh, you can't with this one?
No, you can. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
you can. Oh, perfect. Make sure to play it from the beginning.
Yeah, I've got to play. I just,
Make sure to.
somehow
Yeah.
it always wants to start before you.
I know, right?
The way things are. So it's got the window. You see the window coming up, right?
Yeah. No, I see it.
I just have to go in there and make it like bigger.
Cool.
So when it launches, it'll be the whole thing. That looks
Cool.
So now when it launches, it's going to be the whole thing, and then I'll mute your mic and my mic so the sound will come in better. Okay?
Cool. Well, the video is an hour long, so I'd say show the first few minutes maybe, so that we don't.
It's an hour.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought it was a short clip. So I'll just do
No.
maybe like 2 minutes. 2 minutes is good.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like 2-3 minutes. I start the video with a song to introduce like the set, and then there's like the beginning of the set that you can leave on, and maybe let's do like 5 minutes. Or 3 minutes, something like that. So we get in like the main parts.
If I do it from the beginning, I can run like 5 minutes if you want.
Cool. Let's do that.
I'll do that. So then we go into it. So this is Family Goes We're Back with Kendra Black, and that was a pretty cool performance. I don't
Yeah,
think
thank you.
that's pretty. I think for some reason the YouTube comes in a little better. I don't know why it works better, but yeah, I
It's
was
a
able to,
laggy day. It's okay.
yeah. But I like the whole effect of it in that studio, like with
Thank
the
you.
graphic on the. I guess you have that performance stand that you're on is able to do graphics, and then you have
Oh
the light.
yeah, no, it's a great venue. Alchemy is a place where they stream it, but it's also happening in real time, and people can go. But it's also like a streaming performance with like episodes, so that's nice. Yeah, no, I really
So is
enjoyed
like
that show.
typically electronic musicians play there, or can bands play there?
I think it's more like DJs, or that's what they've been having so far, but it may change.
Yeah,
I
with
was
like
actually
yeah, because of COVID, and also like what I was thinking about in the future is like I deal with talk to a lot of rock bands, to a band like
nice.
5-piece rock bands that would love to have a spot like that to stream from. If you
Hmm.
think about it, because like if they could do a performance and reach a big audience,
Yeah, no,
in
definitely.
a cool way. So that's cool what you're doing there. It kind of gave me an idea.
Hmm. Yeah, no, yeah. And I'm not sure if I was the first singer. I think I was the first singer that performed there, but I was definitely the first woman that performed there. So
Oh,
that was a big step. That was fun.
yeah, so you broke ground. So maybe I say, hey, what happens if you actually have a band play? You know, what if you have a guy bring a Marshall stack and you mic it up, like kind of grunge it out,
That'd be
heavy
cool.
metal without. Like I was talking to this German band, and they were doing this really heavy metal, and I'm like, yeah, I still believe in that. I still like Ozzy.
Yeah. No, I love metal. My brother sings metal.
Yeah. So I could like, oh, I could picture that. That could be a cool thing. But yeah, it was great to actually be able to show people a performance. That's one of the things we like
Thank
about
you.
this new podcast is we have been showing people's YouTube videos, their music videos in full, and we typically will every time you come on, like if you have an album or an EP or a single, we actually will play the whole thing, and we use that as like the basis of the conversation, so that
Nice.
people actually get to hear the band that we're talking about or the song we're talking about. And compared to the other show, we did talk about it, but it's nothing like actually seeing a performance. I was glad we were able to show like 5 minutes of that. So
Yeah,
people got a good feel for what you're doing.
definitely. Hmm. And
Okay.
when these things are out, if you want, we can premiere them.
Yeah, we love to do that. So if you've got the time, and you've got like you'll let me do it, because some people, some companies like they won't let us show the whole thing. So
Hmm.
it's like okay, fine, we won't do it.
Well, not before the release, but the day of the release on, then we're good.
Yeah, well, a lot of times we talk to people like a day or two, a week after, and they
Mhm.
let us do it. But like,
Nice.
unless you're like, if we run into some guys that are totally like do it yourself, and okay, they do have it, so they'll do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're happy that you came back on the program. We're excited.
Same. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so this is gonna be out on my channel. It's out right now. We'll send you the links after we're done, so you have them.
Perfect.
And thank you, and have a safe weekend. Are you
too.
performing this weekend?
Yes, actually, tomorrow, but it's a private party. It's not a show. And then I might have one more show before I leave for Italy. Before catching my plane the next day. So we'll see if that if I'm able to do that, because it's cutting it really close. But if not, there'll be plenty of shows when I come back.
That's cool. Well, good luck, and when you go to Italy, I would love to.
Thank you.
Film that? You gonna film that?
Yeah, I might film a lot of parts of the trip. We have a GoPro 360, so that's a pretty fun toy to record vacations and stuff. And shows, of course.
In the shows, that you gotta get like a good video.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I actually have lots of shows that I have to post about after the Miami show that I did. I'm just like late posting because so much has been going on, but I'm gonna be releasing those soon as well, and I'm filming the one in Italy.
So everything will be on KendraBlackMusic.com.
Yeah, that and my social media platforms as usual.
Okay, well, thank you. Everybody check out www.KendraBlackMusic.com. Check out Emerald Sound. I know you're on Instagram. You're probably on Facebook too, right? You're probably everywhere. Like you're on
well, as Kendra, it's Kendra Black Music everywhere except for Twitter, which is Kendra Black Live. And then Emerald Sounds is Emerald Sounds Company, and Emerald Sounds Co. on Twitter.
Cool. It's always good to get out there.
Yeah,
sometimes
definitely.
You get to ask people, and they like,
It's okay.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.